Hi Bulldog students, I'm Miss Allred, and we're going to spend a few minutes going over 10 key vocabulary words that are related to making inferences. These are going to be really important words for you to pay attention to because you're going to use them in pause all week, but they're also words that you really are going to need to know throughout your life because inferences are things we make all the time, every day. Let's take a look at these words. The first word we have is claim. A claim is a statement of something as a fact. For example, if I were to say, I drive a black car, that's a claim that I'm making. The next word is conclude. Conclude is the action of making a judgment or decision by reasoning. So that's like the thinking that goes on in your head when you're deciding something. If you were trying to make a conclusion about my claim that I drive a black car, you might walk out into the parking lot. If you walk into the parking lot and see there's only one black car there, you would conclude or decide that that must be my car. Conclusion is very closely related to the word conclude. Conclude is the action. Conclusion is the actual judgment or decision that you reach by reasoning. Again, when you look in the parking lot and think about it, that must be Miss Allred's car because that's the only black one there. Our next word is evaluate. Evaluate is also an action, something that you do and think through. You examine and judge something carefully. Typically, you're judging or determining the significance, worth, or quality of something to make an assessment of it. Next, we have the word evidence. I'm sure you hear that a lot from your language arts teacher. I bet they say to you, make sure you find the evidence in the text. Right. Well, what do they mean by that? You hear evidence a lot if you watch a crime TV show, but really what it means is supporting materials that are used to prove or disprove something. In a TV mystery, it might be the footprint that was left behind to prove that whoever did the crime. When you're talking about proving or disproving something based on your reading, typically it's the sentence or the phrase that proves. The next word is imply. When you imply something, that's an action you are taking. It means to indicate or suggest without being explicitly stated. In other words, saying something but meaning a little something different than what you actually say. For example, I might say, I wish I didn't have to go to the dentist tomorrow. I'm implying then that I don't like going to the dentist. How can you tell that? Because I said I don't want to do it. Next up, we have the word infer. This is also an action that you take. Infer is very much a similar meaning to the word conclude. If you infer, it's your action of making a conclusion based on evidence and reasoning. It's making a decision about something, but not just randomly based on your opinion. It's got to be based on some sort of facts that you see. Next up, we have the word inference, certainly related to the word infer. You can see infer right here in it. And inference is the conclusion or decision that you reach based on evidence and reasoning. So if you were looking at a crime scene, you might infer things or make decisions based on what you see. The inference is the actual decision you would make about maybe who did it. Next word is schema. This is probably the toughest, most unusual one to you. It's kind of funny looking, schema. It actually means something pretty simple, however. Your schema, it's a thing. It's the knowledge or understanding of things that are in your mind. So what I'm saying is this is the information that's in your brain, the stuff that you know and how you understand it. Just a fancy way of saying your knowledge. Last word is the word support. Now, I'm sure you hear things about people supporting each other in something, and that's a similar meaning. When we're talking about making inferences, support means to back up with details, or it might be the actual details that you use to back something up with. Your teachers ask you for this all the time by saying, make sure you cite the evidence in the text. What are they asking you to do? They're asking you to find the proof or the support that whatever you picked as the answer is actually the right answer. That's it for our key vocabulary about making inferences. These really are some very important words that you need to learn and be familiar with. You never know which one of those words might be used to ask you an inference question. Anytime you see one of those, you've got to have this signal in your head, in your schema, that, oh, they must be asking me to make an inference, which means use the stuff in my head plus the stuff on the page to make a decision. Check in with your teacher to find out the website link for the Quizlet set for these words.